Okay, Assalamualaikum and a good afternoon, everyone. So, this is essentially the graduate seminar course. So, there are different codes on this. So, I'll be briefing you what you're supposed to do in this particular course, and perhaps I'll jump straight into that briefing presentation. So, let me go. Can you see my screen at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes, doctor.
Right. So I'll jump to my presentation. I will not be able to see you at this point when it's on this presentation mode. So if you have anything to ask or to uh, to say anything, please say out loud because I can't see you. Right. So as I said, this is the briefing for this particular course, and my name is Hishamuddin. I suppose some of you might know me or some of you might not. Okay, I'm a theoretical physicist, so it's for this particular semester, it seems that I have to take over this particular graduate seminar. So let me just try to tell you what I'm going to do for this particular course. So this briefing will essentially there will be 5 parts of it. So I will in the first part I will tell you what is this particular course is about, and then more important for you is the second part, the course assessment, and I'll go to some tips about how to do presentation, a seminar presentation, and then this will be I will be borrowing these tips from somebody from the States, okay, because I have not really prepared too much, but I do have my personal notes, part 4. And then finally, in part 5, we will have some and discussions, okay? Okay, so the first part is to tell you what course is this seminar about, okay? Well, okay, this is the first time I'm teaching a multiple codes at the same time. Okay, we have different graduate seminar courses, as indicated in the slide now. So there is this FSA 5905, which is the Master Science Final Seminar. The equivalent version for the PhD. Can you see my cursor, by the way? Okay, great. So your 5905 is for the masters and 6905 is your PhD. So you can figure out the code with number 5 at the beginning is for essentially for masters, and with number 6 is for PhD. And for the PhD, there is two different seminar courses. It seems 6904 is for the progress seminar. This is actually new to me. Okay, and I think probably started a couple of semesters back. 6904, and then oh, you have three presentation. Okay, so in some places they only have two, the proposal and the final. Okay, so this is a new thing for me. So for the faculty, I suppose there are three. So there will be a PhD progress seminar, and then the 6905 is PhD final seminar. Now there is another seminar with the code from the graduate school. SPS means the School of Sekolah Pengajian Swasta, or School of Graduate Studies. So you have 5903, which is the proposal seminar, and 6903 is for the PhD. Now all of these have different emphasis. Okay, we will talk a little bit about this and the way you're supposed to conduct your seminar will be according to what it's meant to be. Okay, if it's the proposal seminar, then it will be a proposal proper. And if it's a progress seminar, it will be a progress seminar saying about the research progress they have made. And if it's a final seminar, then most of your results should already be with you and trying to give to give us the significant results of your research. So because of these different codes available, and I have to later on I have to key in your marks. So I will need to know who is registered for what. So I've already put a Google form. Initially, I shared it rather than making it secure through the send Google form. So I've made a new Google form. You have done the previous one, then you probably need to do this one. And if you already done it, let me show you. Let me get out from this PowerPoint first. I'll tell you who has already registered over here. I hope you can see this. Right. So those who have responded, what's going on? Okay. Those who has responded are the following. Okay, there are only 9 of you so far. So if you have not done this, then please fill up this particular form and submit it. Okay, so there is giving your full name, metric number, email, phone number, and then the course that you are registered for, and then there will be some suggested week of your own presentation. Okay, so the suggested week will somehow have to be because I will need to know who probably everyone wants to do the last week, then I cannot allow that to happen. Okay, so please fill up this Google form. Let me get back to the PowerPoint. I can put it on the chat as well. Let me just get the link for this. Sorry. It's a bit of delay here. So, okay. So the link is here. Let me copy that. And then I'll put this in the chat. So if you have not done this, please do so. Copy the link and then you'll be able to fill up the Google form. Okay, so that allows me to check which course are you registered for. Okay, as I mentioned, there are different codes for different people, I suppose, different purpose. Sorry. Okay, so please fill up the Google form so that when the marks are given, then I can submit the marks to the respective codes of courses. Okay, right. So that is as I mentioned just now, that these different codes will tell you the type of seminar that you're supposed to present. Okay, so let me just mention about proposal seminar. For example, proposal, usually you do not really have some established results as yet, but you have been here for a while, so you have gone from the idea of a research direction or outline to a particular problem when you discuss with your supervisor, and then you should be able to write down your problem statement and objectives. Okay, and then with that you probably have gone through some literature review, and then you probably have figured out, okay, how to approach that particular problem. So you need to know some theory or methodology to do it. Okay, so this you have bold this. So this will be the emphasis for the case of seminar, and depending on the candidate, so you might have some no, because maybe you already no, done a bit of work and you get some partial results, so you can actually present those. Or if you have not get any original results, you might want to say something about what you desire from the proposal that you made. And of course, a good thing to have is your timeline or Gantt chart. Okay, so this will be the contents of your proposal seminar, and the bold one, the bold bullet points are the things that will be the focus of the proposal seminar. And for progress seminar, again, you will have some repeating things like your problem statement and objectives and theory and methodology. So this has to be introduced each time when you present something, so that people are made aware about the research you are doing. But the focus will again be on the partial results, because progress seminar you're supposed to be showing the progress rather than the complete research. Okay, so the partial results and the discussions. So meaning you have obtained your partial results at some point in time, and then you probably have some discussions that can actually make on those results. And at this juncture, when you do this research progress, I'm pretty sure there will be some problems encountered, and then probably have figured out as well the routes to overcome these problems. In other words, what's the next step of your research? Okay. So the bold ones, again, the one that will be highlighted for the progress seminar. So when you do this seminar, please differentiate the three different things. You know where you are. Okay, so you need to highlight those things which are at the stage of your research. Right. Seminar, again, it's meant for the research project that has already approached to the end of the project. Okay, and again you repeat some of the things again. Your scope of research, which is a little bit of your literature review, but you do not want to spend too much time on the literature review at this juncture, but you need to be able to say something that lead to your objectives. Okay, and then your theory and methodology, again, just to remind the audience, for example, to see what you have actually done before this, and then continue with the main results and discussion, and then the concluding points of your research. And then usually at this point in juncture, you have done almost 90% of your research, then you can have some kind of outlook and open problems that you can suggest. Okay, so these are things are expected of you. There are what else? Okay, please make sure that there are some generic features that probably I will mention that in the tips later on. Okay, so that is part 1. Any questions so far? If there is, please shout, because I can't see you at the moment. I guess no. So okay, for part 2 is essentially how this course will be assessed. Okay, I have to give marks to you. So, okay, the first thing I would like to highlight is the fact that what is the idea of seminar really? Okay, the seminar is really a community activity. Okay, it's supposed to be a platform where you get uh, research updates, and then you can also do exchange of ideas between uh, like-minded participants, like yourself. You are in the physics group, then you should be able to discuss a lot of physics. Okay, and and then the fact that it's a community of physicists or physics students, the participants of the seminars are expected to contribute to the success of the event. This is just like any other seminar. Okay, anyone who's organizing seminar would hope for the incoming participants, and the participants will actually make it lively by contributing to the participation, presenting, and then doing question and answers and interacting with other participants. Okay, so this is the what you call the main thing when you do a particular seminar. Now, ours is no different. The only difference is because we are giving marks to you, essentially. Okay, but the idea is to build up this community, essentially to be able to give you a platform for you to exchange ideas, get to know the research of other people. Okay, and the main thing about the seminars is to be able to help each other by improving understanding and clarifying unclear matters. So this is usually done through interaction in the Q&A, for example. So as part of this, I will expect that the assessment has to be part, the main part will be your own participation. So the attendance, for example, is essentially a show of support to the community. Okay, and of course, I'm human enough to know that sometimes you do have other things to attend to, or there are more what you call important matters that you need to attend, say that coincides with the seminar time. So if you have those, please do inform me, for example, earlier, so that I can take note about your attendance. Okay. So roughly speaking, your participation is mostly expected of you is your own seminar presentation. So essentially that would take up most of the marks. Okay, so each of you who registered will have to do one seminar presentation, and this I've not yet set up a fixed mark for this, but no, it should be more than 50%. Okay, and then the rubric is essentially your how you organize your seminar content. Okay, the clarity of it, the technical contents, the details, how reliable it is, and then your delivery, whether it's fluent enough, and then the interaction. Okay, whether you are able enough to answer questions and things like that. So the main assessment marks are coming from the seminar presentation, but I do expect for you to attend. So as I said, it's a show of support. Okay, so the seminar attendance will be also taken into account. Okay, and I believe with the online what you call online conduct of this course, it should be of no real problem, I think. Okay, so please do attend, but this is not only the places where I can give marks on. Okay, presentation and attendance, it's not the only thing that you're supposed to get marks from. Okay, there will be other things. The other thing is essentially the interactivity. Okay, so students are really invited to post questions. So now this is a bit of a headache for me. So I need to take note of who are actually giving the questions. Okay, so questions, each question posed will incur some marks for the candidate that posed the questions. Okay, and for this is because it's online, one could not really sometimes you don't put your camera on and then you use a nickname. If possible, don't use nicknames. Okay, put your own names, and then you identify yourself before you ask the questions. Okay, so in this case it will be easier for me to take note and give marks. The idea of this is essentially to inculcate some healthy Q&A culture. You probably have come across the idea that, especially from an Asian community or Asian students, there's the tendency to be a bit passive, sorry, that there is less interaction between the presenter and the participants. Okay, so here we are encouraging you to have a healthy Q&A sort of culture, so that and it's really easy enough to do it. Because why? Because there will be certainly things in the presentation that that don't quite fit your understanding, or you are not even clear of what the person is talking about, or there's something that you have not seen before. You can ask those questions. Okay, and the more questions asked is better in some sense. I do have to limit them, of course. Each presentation should take up about 25 minutes. Okay, so and no, if the question goes on, then we get too much time spent on the presentation. Again, I'm still worried about the number of students registering for these different courses. If there are too many, then no, I will have to even limit it further. Okay, the number of number of presentations will be limited. Sorry, number of presenters should be so much, and then I have so limited number of weeks. Okay, but as of now, I think there are about less than 20 of you, then that should be of no problem. Okay, so that's another assessment, Q&A. The assessment to be done is essentially students are invited to give peer assessment to the presenter. Now, each assessment will give marks to the peer reviewer, to the one who actually review or give a critical review of the presenter. Okay, so the peer reviewers will fill up an online form. Usually I will give this at the end of the presentation session, just like the online form that I mentioned just now. So I will give this to you, and then also possibly if you prefer to have your supervisors invited, we can also do that, but you have to inform me prior to the presentation of your seminar. Okay. Right. I think that's about that. Okay. Are there any questions so far? Okay, great. So let me go to these tips from presentation made by Professor Lance Cooper from Illinois, because no, it was there in the web, so I did. So let me go to that. What's happening? Oh, should go to the, yeah. Right, let me go back to the beginning. Okay, this is his presentation slide to give you some tips about giving scientific presentations. So let me just quickly go through this. Have a look. Can you actually see this? Let me know. Okay. Let me see if I can enlarge this. Okay. So let me go to the, okay. Oops, what happens? I think I have to, yeah. Nope. Okay, maybe I have to use this. Right. So the first thing first is when you try to write a seminar presentation, you always need to identify your audience. In our case, it's pretty obvious. It's your peers. So your peers might not have all the knowledge on your own research. So you should be giving a lot more background material, for example, or even to me. I'm a theorist. I might not know the kind of experiments that you do, so you need to be able to uh, uh, give the necessary background material to me. Okay, for example. Okay, so you have to identify your audience, determine how much time. Here we have mentioned just now that it will be about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, there will be a 5 minute buffer zone. Okay, so that if somebody gets over time, then at least that is accounted for. Uh, so about 25 minutes is your thing, and then you identify the main points. This is the thing that I always say. Always try to imagine what is the take-home message that you want to give for each of your talk. There should not be too many of that, maybe two or three. Three is already quite many, but there will be a take-home message that should stick to the audience mind. Okay, so this you should always identify what you want to do. Okay, the outline, this as usual. Oops, I should use this instead. Okay, the background here is he already sort of tell you roughly how much time that you should spend on each part. 6 minutes, around 4 to 5 slides for your background and introduction. Around the same amount of minutes for your methodology or theory, for example. Okay, and usually this is a bit technical. You may only have 2 or 3 slides. Go to the next one, and then the results is the main point, especially for the final seminar. Okay. Oh, maybe I'll go back to the earlier one. Here, probably for the case of proposal seminar, you may spend a bit more time over here. Okay, as I mentioned, proposal seminar, the nature is different. Okay, for progress seminar and for final seminar, you probably want to emphasize on your results. Okay, so this is about right. You spend about, more times over here, around 9 minutes, which is 4 to 5 slides. And then critique and citation summary. This is usually for a review rather, okay, and then summary. Okay. So this is really for a review. Here it says journal club. Okay, journal club usually is a review kind of talk. Okay, this is pretty obvious. The title slide, outline. Here some example over here, so you can see how he introduce certain questions in mind. Okay. Another example, a lot of graphics over here. I have some reservations on certain things, which I will tell you in the next part. Okay. So again, these are some more details. I'm not going to go. I'm just I will give you the slides later on. Okay, in Putra Blast, or you can actually get it from the URL later on. Okay, summary. Oh, this is another thing. Always begin with your beginning slide and spend a bit of time in your title and your outline, because people want to have a kind of roadmap what to expect from your talk. Okay, and the same thing with your summary or conclusion. Okay, you probably want to state this on one particular slide of the conclusion, for example, so that people will digest it. Okay, and I will mention something afterwards, because one of the things in presentation slide, okay, is different from reading a book or reading a paper. Okay, so you have to take into account of this different nature of slide presentation. Okay, this is about the same thing again. I'm not going to go through every one. Okay, here is this is pretty common to have only one idea per slide. I tend to have one or two ideas usually, because I have a particular theme on top. Like just now, I had this, for example. Let me go up. Okay, so I have this particular theme. So I want to have most of the points that on peer review, I will have to put it in one particular slide connected to each other. Okay, so on this part, I consider that as one or two ideas. Okay, so you might want to follow that as well. It's not going. Figures are important. Again, I will mention about that. Sometimes one of the what they call proverbs, they say picture paints 1,000 words. So sometimes picture convey information much more better than words. Okay, but not always. Okay. Okay, these are things that you need to do when you put figures in. Presenting data. Again, this is particularly important for the case of experimentalists. Okay, you have to label things up. Okay, I think most of these are pretty common sense to you, but no, it's just making you a bit more aware of it. Equipments, again, showing just a picture, for example, might actually not be so meaningful. So you might want to show things like, okay, here's the vacuum chamber, here's the mass spectrometer, and things like that. So these are informative, what I call, things that you can actually put on your slides. Because otherwise, if you just have the picture, then no, it will not convey too much. It will convey that you have this complicated looking thing, and that's it. Okay. Here's another one. This is probably some optics kind of experiment here. Particle physics. Here is essentially, this is probably some atom. This is probably arrangement of atoms to form this particular characters. This is where I disagree with the because I'm a theorist. Okay, it says use equations sparingly. Again, this depends on the audience. Okay, if the audience is a technical audience, then you might want to have the equations down. Okay, but of course equations are pretty technical, so it depends. Sometimes you need to be able to explain what the equations mean. Usually, I have a friend who says that if you cannot read your equations, then you don't understand enough. And they say read, meaning you know each symbol represents what. Okay? Right. Again, here again, as you can see, he's putting all these things here to explain what all these symbols mean. So that is actually a good way of doing things. But sometimes, no, you have to spend a lot of time to do this. Okay, so but again, if you really want to make your seminar presentation effective, then these are the things that you should try to do. Here's a bad equation example without any explanation at all. Again, this is about animation. I will have to make some comments on this later on. Backgrounds, okay, avoid things like this. Okay, this is fonts, and this is really not necessary, but normal colors. Okay, this is important. Do not read from your slides. Okay, like I'm doing just now a little bit. Okay, you're supposed to know the material, so you should have enough text or no material on the slide to be able to trigger some of the thoughts. Okay, because you do not want it to get loose, too loose. Okay, so but you should not try to read it. Okay, and again with online thing, you don't have all this kind of thing. You will not be able to see too much, but you do have to speak clearly. I hope I do speak clearly enough. And what else? Okay, rehearse. Okay, that's pretty common. Okay, stage fright. I don't think any one of you has stage fright at this juncture. Okay, the audience. If it's a general audience, again, try to avoid too much technical terms. Or for example, to me, you talk too much of the laboratory terms, no, it will sound foreign to me as a theorist. Okay, I think this is probably getting to the end. Okay, right. So let me close this up. So as I said, these are tips given by some professor in the States. Let me go to the next part. So this is part 3. So the part 4, which is the last part from myself, some personal notes. There are some things that I've observed over the years, and I find certain practices are quite good, certain practices are not that good. Okay. First and foremost is the following. There is a tendency nowadays to make academic presentations to look like business presentations. Okay, and this is not so good. Okay, we are more concerned about technical content. Okay, so we are less concerned about this flashy stuff. No, even even your one of the things, one of the tips just now, I think I've just went past it, is not to have too much background on your thing. You can have some things like things like this. I have my university's sort of footer here, just to show that I belong to this university. Okay, but other than that, keep it plain and simple. Graphics, of course, is important when you have technical graphs, tables, schematic diagrams, and they convey much more information than just seeing text. Okay, but for other types of graphics, even cartoons, for example, you can see cartoons at the beginning of uh, the tips given before, but this depends on the audience. If you are preparing, say, a slide for a Viva, will you expect a cartoon to be appropriate? So again, this depends on the setting. Okay, so some are good. To inject humor, for example, you have to pick the right or the right time if you want to include humor. Okay, so again, all these are very subjective, and it really depends on the circumstances. Okay? Also, there is this idea that you should have enough white spaces in your slides. This again depends. For me, for example, especially when you have too condensed time, meaning you have only limited number of time, and you do not want to jump over a few slides to go to some related materials. So if possible, when it comes to a particular related material, just put it on one slide. This may crowd up that particular slide, but if you feel that no it's too crowded, then you can have, say, like just now I have a certain theme, okay, at the top here, like this one, content versus style and flashiness. If I have more things to say about this, I would put part one, or one, and then another slide would be put two. So they still convey a single theme or single idea. Okay, so again, put related materials just on one particular slide, or if you want, break it up in two slides. Next, this is the thing that I find many students, even professional presenters, have the mistake of doing. When you do slides, okay, it's not like reading a book or paper. You are the audience doesn't have the flexibility to see, okay, what does it mean by this particular term? I cannot recall that was done in the first slide or the second slide, but you do not have that flexibility to unless you do it in a Q&A kind of mode. You do not have the convenience to ask can you go back to slide 2, to see what this definition means. If you keep doing that, then you interrupt the flow of the presenter. So there is this problem with respect to presenting slides. Okay, so you must avoid that sort of thinking of your presentation just like writing a particular passage in a book or passage in a lecture notes. Okay, it has to be a bit different. You have to understand that the reader would prefer to be able to recall on the spot. One of the most common mistake is to have the reference all towards the end. Now I know, this you have to be careful a little bit. I know some people would like to have that. Now you can do that if it's required or is part of the marking scheme. So it's good to have the the assessor's marking scheme. If it includes a reference, then you put, no, you can put a reference. But to have a reference quoted in, say, slide number 3, you do not want to go to the reference slide towards the end. So it's better to put as a footnote. An example that I've done is this one. Okay, here's a footnote marker here, and then I put the relevant reference over here. Okay, so in that sense, when the audience see this particular reference, okay, I know now that this is a web page or a PDF link, so I can always try to get it. Okay, so, or if it's a particular book, then this is from the book of, say, Kittel, Solid State Physics, then it's already written down there. So it doesn't have to okay, I have to look at the reference slide to see what this reference to is, for example. Okay, so this is a good habit to have. Okay, to have your references as footnotes. If the marking scheme has some allocation of for references at the end, then you do that as an extra slide. But do have footnotes of the references on the same slide when you cite them. Okay, and then the other particular thing is, again, you might want to say something which is related to the material that you say on that particular slide. So now you can even see books doing this kind of, you have this nonlinear digressions. So what happens, you can have some kind of text box over here saying that, history is about a particular history. This idea was actually done by so and so and so, but then was transformed into another idea by so and so. Okay, so that was mentioned in the same slide for which that idea was actually being explained on that particular slide. Okay, so you can have those kind of things. Okay, so it may crowd a little bit, but then no, it helps this different kind of reading that you have through the slides. It's not like a book reading is sort of linear kind of thing, but this one you may have non-linear kind of ideas. Hyperlinks is another thing. Okay, like just now I have a hyperlink to the tips by that professor. Okay. Okay, so that comes to the last part, which is Q&A. So I'm going to go out from the full screen mode and probably back to you. Are there any questions? So we only spent about 45 minutes so far. Questions? Okay. That was what has been told to me. Okay. Initially, I thought it was a face-to-face, but then they say all the graduate subjects are conducted online. So anything else? Yeah,
because since that we are almost 20 students in these classes, right?
Yeah.
Because last time I'm taking the progress seminar, is this the seminar for this semester is will be held for 3 hours onwards or only
Okay.
2 hours?
Okay, let me put it this way. Depending on the number of students, I'm going to arrange your presentation later on. Okay, so to fill up the form. Okay, so if there are not many students, then we can have it for 2 hours. So that means there's about 4 presentations per day, per Wednesday. Okay, then you can have only just 2 hours.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so do fill up the form.
Okay. So, okay. So doctor, when we having 2 hours, so is it from 2 to 4 or 3 to 5 or 2:30 to 4:30?
Okay,
What's the time?
okay. That's a good question. Now I prefer to start. Well, we can start at 2:30 if you want to. Okay. Today we started at 2:15. The idea is, some people take some time, from lunch, and then for the Muslims they may want to go to pray and things like that. So we'll take something about, after two, so we can start at 2:30. Then we can stop at say 4:30 if it's only 2 hours. My worry just now was that if there are many students, because I'm not sure even today now, there's about 19 of you. There might be more students coming in, so that's my worry actually. If there are more students, then I have to rearrange it.
Okay. Doctor, the presentation will be start from which week? Is it week 3 or week 4?
I've made it.
Next week?
If you have filled out the form, you probably have seen me putting week 2 already. So if you're ready, you can do it next week. Okay. Otherwise, we have to fill it up with something like my briefing today, or no, I can talk about something else that you want to know. Then I can do that as well. Or we can have a guest speaker. In the past, they do also that, to invite somebody to speak. Then we can fill up. We have about 14 weeks. I'm not sure about this time, because we have also holidays. Hari Raya is coming. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah.
I think I should unshare now. Let me stop presenting. I think so I can see most of you. Anything that you want to ask about the things I mentioned just now? It's a good time for Q&A to contribute to your marks. No? I have one request now. Well, two requests. First request is, no, I'm supposed to have your phone numbers from the forms that you fill, but if possible, I want to set up a WhatsApp group. So if possible, I want to have some representative to be the admin of the WhatsApp group. Any volunteers?
Doctor, is it want to collect the number for create a WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. So volunteer lah to become.
Okay. So I will get your number. Do you have your maybe you can how should we do this? Have you registered for the thing? Did you fill out the form?
Yeah, I have filled out.
Okay, great. Then I can get your number there, and then I'll set up the group, and then you just add up the rest for me. So there will be a WhatsApp group just in case we have some announcements. We can do it there, or somehow we do it some other way. Another possibility is to put it on Putra Blast, but Putra Blast, then the Those who registered under SPS will not be able to see. Okay, right.
Can I get your number so that I can invite you?
Okay. Oh, you want to create? Okay, that's fine by me. So I'll put it here for everyone.
Okay.
So that's my number. Another thing I have also begged, because there are so many different WhatsApp group, try to maintain uh, the content of a WhatsApp group to this educational thing, okay, this subject thing, rather than too many other matters. Okay, so limit to this particular seminar course. Okay, so I hope you can see my number there, right? Any last question? And before we go, otherwise, can I request that you put up your you put on your camera, please, so that I can take a snapshot. Right, great. Anyone else? Good. Okay. There are three others which I cannot see. How to see this? I'm not used to this. Let me just check if I can. How do you include more people here? Options, change layout. Down. Okay. So I can see more of you. Okay. So I'm going to take a print screen here. So are you guys ready? There are two of you are not putting out the camera. Okay. So I'll take a snapshot now. Right. Thank you. So I think that's it for today. Oh, let me do another one. Sorry. Put on your camera back again. Okay. Somebody just turned on their camera. All right. Everyone except one person. Okay. So if there are any other things, then you can actually contact me through my number here, or I can give you my email. I prefer to use my personal email. And I'll be able to attend to your whatever queries there. Okay. So I think that's it for today. Yeah.
I already cooked the group, and yeah. So and also for every student, please go inside the WhatsApp group through the link given in the comment chat. Okay, thanks. So Doctor, you already inside lah in this group as an
Okay.
admin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
Doctor, please have a chat. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep. Thank you. So okay. I think we should end. Okay. Thank you. We should end this session now, and I will have a look at all the forms that you have filled, and we'll try to start organizing what's the your seminar slots. Okay, so I will start my recording now. Okay.